A New York City sperm bank faces multiple lawsuits claiming it did not properly screen its donors for genetic diseases. The sperm bank industry is expected to be worth more than $5 billion, that's with a B, by 2025. But some families say they're learning very troubling information after the fact. CTM consumer investigative correspondent, that's Anna Werner, has been covering this industry and joins us at the table to discuss. What'd you find out?
Well, you know, Gayle, people who want to have a baby, they spend weeks, even months, selecting the perfect sperm donor, a man with a good background and good health. But these recently filed lawsuits against one East Coast sperm bank raised disturbing questions about whether screening for sperm donors is always done correctly.
Andrea Frankowitz and Ruth Perez say their two daughters, Michaela, age 5, and Aurora, 2, are their blessings in life.
They are little comical, spunky children.
In 2013, when the couple went looking for a sperm donor to help them have children, they came here to Manhattan Cryobank, where they selected an anonymous donor with a similar ethnic background to theirs. Equally important, they say, in his donor profile, the bank listed the man as negative for genetic diseases.
I didn't want to pass on anything to our children because I know from my family history there are a lot of things that are already serious.
But shortly after Aurora's birth in 2016, the couple got this letter from Manhattan Cryobank telling them the donor they chose, donor number 184, was actually a carrier for a genetic disease called thalassemia, a blood disease.
We're confused on what this was because we thought that all the genetic testing was done.
Your hair is so pretty.
What followed was 6 to 8 months of uncertainty and a series of expensive genetic tests on their daughters, which eventually showed neither girl suffered the disorder. But the couple is now suing Manhattan Cryobank as part of a class action, claiming the bank improperly screened donor samples and knowingly sold sperm that could contain genetic diseases to potentially hundreds or thousands of people.
We want to hold them accountable for what they've done by selling these donors to other families without letting them know that, they weren't correctly genetically tested.
The couple's lawsuit is one of at least 3 making similar claims. One filed on behalf of a Missouri couple who used the same donor says their child did inherit thalassemia, which may require lifelong blood transfusions. Manhattan Cryobank had its inventory and trademark purchased by California Cryobank last July. A spokesperson for California Cryobank told us, "We are investigating these claims that occurred prior to the acquisition, but cannot comment on active litigation." Lawyer Dean Gresham represents the families.
That sperm was not, in our judgment, properly screened for genetic diseases and is still being used and sold on the market today.
He says what the bank should have been using was next-generation sequencing technology, which he says Manhattan Cryobank only began using in November 2014.
So what is it that you're saying that they didn't do that they should have done?
What they didn't do is go back and rescreen any of the previous donors who had donated since 2007 for any genetic diseases that had not been previously screened for.
One of those previous donors, he says, number 184, Frankowitz and Perez's donor.
The sperm banking industry is buyers beware.
Dov Fox is a professor of law and bioethics studying reproductive technology. He says the lawsuits are symptomatic of larger problems.
There are no guarantees. The absence of federal, state, or professional regulation, at least any kind that's enforced in any way, leaves prospective parents at risk.
These moms say after getting that letter, they called Manhattan Cryobank. They say they never heard back.
I don't know what person in their right mind would think that's okay. Sending it off knowing that you made a medical mistake. I still don't get it. All I can think of is grief.
We've learned more. We've reviewed emails from California Cryobank to several of its clients disclosing that a hold has been placed on the use of some donor sperm from the inventory it bought from Manhattan Cryobank. The emails said that the screening did not comply with FDA requirements. We reached out to the FDA. We haven't heard back yet.
Anything you can do to protect yourself in this case?
You know, it's so hard because everybody wants to select the perfect donor, to have these children. And you think that you've got the perfect person, that everything is going to go the way it has. And I guess the word of warning is it may not. So you might want to try to be prepared, and also read your contracts, by the way.
Especially if you followed all the rules and done everything correctly and checked all the boxes to still have that happen.
It may just be there is no perfect partner in life, and there's no perfect donor as well.
I think that's probably a good way to sum it up.
Thank you very much.